Hello. So I have a feeling that a lot of people don't exactly understand what Palantir does and how Palantir works and how absolutely mother effing OG Palantir is between Alex Karp, Peter Thiel, the other founders, the absolutely unbelievable engineers that Palantir has, and the technology that Palantir does that builds a moat around Palantir. A lot of you guys are going to say, Adam, what the heck are you talking about? And today I'm going to make a video talking off my dome. Did you guys know that in the middle of 2010s, Palantir sued the United States Army because the United States Army wanted to build out internally a system called DCGS, which stands for Distributed Common Ground Systems for the Army. The Army was building this system for nearly a decade, and they already spent $3 billion on this system. However, the system was glitchy as F, and a lot of soldiers in Afghanistan were complaining about using this internal system and preferred to use Palantir's system. Palantir has already been in business for nearly 4 or 5 years before the suit happened. So a lot of government agencies started to understand what Palantir can do. The judge ruled in Palantir's favor and said that the United States Army did not follow a 1994 law called the Federal Acquisition Streamlining Act. And what the act says is that you must do a valid search of the market and see if there's any commercial products that don't need any modifications that can do what you're trying to build. The Army was taking a lot of outside consulting contractors and trying to build this very, very technical, grand system. And Palantir, time after time after time, was telling the Army, hey, we have a much better option for you. Instead of you building it, we have a platform that's already built. We're not as glitchy, we work a lot better, and we're a lot cheaper than what you're trying to do. For some reason, and I'm not saying this, this is what the judge said. I'm going to quote her. She said, for some reason, the Army did not listen to Palantir and said that they violated this act and they did not pay attention to what Palantir was saying over and over and over again. Well, the judge ruled in Palantir's favor, and the Army had to do an open market search to see if there's better options than building this common ground system themselves. The actual words from the ruling was, the Army did not listen to Palantir and were not interested when Palantir said that they can do a command center on a fixed price and commercial item basis. By actually suing the Army, which was a huge no-no in the industry because people had to do repeat business with this Army, Palantir won the decisions. So now somebody would say, wow, Adam, that's a really stupid decision. You went against the United States federal government. The Army, nonetheless, obviously Palantir shot themselves in the foot and was not able to do any business with the armed military and specifically the branch of the Army. Well, if you would think that, I guess that would make sense the way you're thinking. But in actuality and reality, that did not happen. And it's actually the opposite of what happened. In 2015, Palantir was awarded a massive $22 million deal with the United States Army to build out this common ground system. That was the largest contract they had at the time. In 2016, they got an even bigger contract worth $216 million. And this was to build a U.S. forward command base in Afghanistan. And then in 2019, they were awarded a massive $800 million contract with the United States Army that they were competing with another company that lost to do a complete systems overhaul to digitize the United States Army. You see, while a lot of people would say this was a weakness of Palantir and they should have kept their head in the sand and not fight the U.S. Army, not fight the U.S. federal government, it actually paid off big time for Palantir. And a lot of people that are just starting to invest in Palantir don't realize that Palantir has 20 years of business. They have a lot of experience with the U.S. government. They have a lot of experience with the U.S. government's allies as well. A lot of people are complaining that Palantir is unable to gain government contracts. And to this, I want to tell you, just remember, Palantir sued the United States government. Palantir sued the United States Army. And not only did they win, They actually were awarded the biggest contracts of their career. What do you think is happening right now in Europe? The other day, I showed you guys a video where the CEO of Palantir, Dr. Alex Karp, was meeting with President Zelensky in Ukraine. What did they talk about? Building an actual office in Ukraine and providing digitized reinforcement to the Ukrainian army. For some reason, people keep doubting Palantir, but it takes time to build what Palantir is building. I firmly believe that in Q3, 4 of this year and Q1 of next year, we will get an enormous influx of government contracts, not only nationally, but internationally, not only within our borders, but within foreign borders. What do you think is going to happen with NATO? What do you think is going to happen with the European Union? I believe Ukraine is joining NATO. I believe Finland applied and Sweden applied to join NATO. Those 3 countries will probably get awarded membership in NATO. They will all upgrade their militaries. A lot of their money is going to be going to Palantir. And if you doubt it, just look what I showed you the other day. Literally, Alex Karp, the CEO of Palantir, is in Ukraine. They literally said, and I'm not like making these words up, that they will provide digital support for the Ukrainian army. Spain said that they're increasing their GDP spending from 1.5% to 2% for NATO. Germany, the same thing. And Germany is going to be spending 100 billion euro to digitize their armed forces. What do you think is going to happen? Where do you think the money is going to go? You think America is not going to spend even more money now to digitize their army? You don't think Ukraine is going to be spending massive amounts of that $40 billion that they just got from the United States? Where do you think that money is going to go to? A lot of that money is going to be going to Palantir. Now, I'm not arguing if you agree with it or disagree with it. All I'm saying is a lot of that money is going to be going to Palantir. A lot of you guys like to cry like babies saying, Palantir, Palantir, it's down, it's down. Take this as a great opportunity to buy a stock that you always said you want to go down. When Palantir was 30, people wanted it to go to 20. When it was 20, people wanted it to go to 10. And when it was 10, people wanted it to go to sub 10. Well, everybody got their chance and people don't buy. But if Palantir hits $50 a share, everybody and their mother will be lining outside around the block trying to buy Palantir shares. Now, nothing I'm saying is financial advice. This is purely entertainment and educational purposes, but I'm a firm believer of something called theoretical investing, where I like to connect the dots and make sense of things. And the next time you question Palantir, just remember, they're one of the few companies that actually sued the United States government, sued the United States Army, won the suit, and made over $1 billion in contracts after they sued the United States Army. The Army did not have to use Palantir. The lawsuit literally said the Army had to do a complete market search. They then chose to use Palantir. Why? Palantir was the only one in the market that can actually do what the United States government was trying to build, except Palantir does it better, faster, cheaper, more efficient, and already produce the next generation and the generation after that you would need to keep upgrading the systems that you're trying to build internally. You see, Palantir is already thinking preemptively what you're going to need in 5 years from now. And when 5 years comes, Palantir is thinking the next 5, and the next, and the next. Sometimes you don't know what's good for you. In this case, Palantir is your daddy, and Palantir is your mama, and you are the children. Palantir, your parents, know what's good for you, the children. I'm not trying to knock anybody. I'm not trying to play anybody. But all I'm saying is Palantir is quite simply the freaking best. Thank you.